Hi, friend. Does the Christmas season ever leave you feeling more stressed than blessed? You're running from store to store, your to do list is a mile long, and somewhere in the middle of all the chaos, you realize the one person you wanted to focus on, Jesus, has completely gotten lost in the shuffle. It can feel like you're on a holiday hamster wheel, and the profound, beautiful meaning of Christ's advent is slipping further and further away. Well, I've been there. And over the years, my family and I have learned some simple but powerful ways to cut through the noise. This isn't about adding more onto your plate. It's actually making what's already on your plate more meaningful. In today's video, I want to share with you some ways you can intentionally refocus your Christmas on Christ and His Advent and bring a sense of peace and true meaning back to your celebration, because this season should feel like a gift, not a burden. Let's talk about how to refocus Christmas on Christ and His Advent here in this edition of Ignite Your Spiritual Growth. Hi, I'm Mark Warren, and welcome back to today's edition of Ignite Your Spiritual Growth from Directions for Living. So, what is the key to reclaiming our Christmas season? Well, it actually starts with an understanding about Advent. We hear that word a lot, but what does it mean? The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which simply means coming or arrival. The season begins on the first Sunday of Advent, which normally falls somewhere between November 27th and December the 3rd. It's time of preparation and reflection on the coming of Christ, both in His nativity and His anticipated return. It's all about waiting. But it's not a passive, bored kind of waiting. It's a season of expectant waiting and spiritual preparation. And it has this fascinating dual focus. First, we look back, remembering Christ's first coming, His birth in that humble manger in Bethlehem. That's the part that we all know and that we love. But there's a second, equally important focus, looking forward. We are also preparing for Christ's second coming, when He will return in glory. So Advent holds this beautiful mix of looking back and looking forward, of solemn reflection and joyful hope. It's a time to prepare our hearts, not just our homes. So I'd like to suggest a few tips to help you refocus your Christmas on Christ and His Advent. Tip number 1. Engage with the Nativity Story in a new way. Now, we all know the Nativity Story, right? But sometimes it's being so familiar with something, it means that we start to skim over the incredible details. This Advent, I want to challenge you to engage with the story of Christ's birth in a fresh and an intentional way. Instead of just reading Luke 2 on Christmas Eve, why not live in the story all season long? Here's one idea. Create a journey to Bethlehem in your home. Set up the nativity scene, but start first with an empty stable. Each day, you can add new figures. Start with the prophets on the bookshelf in the distance. Then have Mary and Joseph begin their long journey across your living room mantle. Have the shepherds appear in the nearby field out over on one of the end tables. As you add each piece, take a moment to read their part of the story from Scripture and talk about it. What must Mary have been feeling? What kind of incredible faith did Joseph show? What does it say about God's kingdom that the angels appeared to shepherds, some of the lowliest people in their society? Another great practice is to focus on a different character from the Nativity each week. Week 1, the prophets and their theme of hope. Week 2 is Mary and Joseph and their faithful obedience. Week number 3, the shepherds and their explosive joy. And finally, week 4, the Magi and their worshipful adoration. This slower, more thoughtful approach lets the richness of the incarnation story really have time to sink in. It helps us to remember these weren't just felt characters. They were real people in God's astounding plan to enter into human history. Now, I do have a couple more tips that I want to share with you, but since Christmas is the season of giving, I have a free gift for you. A gift that I believe will help you stop starving your soul. It's called 3 Key Steps to Enhance Your Spiritual Growth. These key steps are designed to encourage your desire to know God better and understand His exciting relationship with you. They will lead you to a transformed life through a simple yet dynamic way to approach God through His Word. I really want to get this into your hands, so I have put a link in the description below to make it super easy. I hope you will grab this free resource, and I pray that it will promote spiritual growth in your life. Okay, now let's get back to today's focus, how to refocus Christmas on Christ and His advent. So here's tip number 2, reclaim gift giving. Now let's be honest. One of the biggest sources of stress, as well as distraction, during Christmas is this pressure around gift giving. It can so quickly shift our focus from the giver of all gifts to the mountain of presents that we find under the tree. But we can absolutely reclaim this tradition and make it a powerful reflection of God's ultimate gift to us. One popular and meaningful approach is a 3-gift rule. It mirrors the gifts that are given in Scripture by the Magi. Each person receives just 3 gifts. Something gold, something that they really want. Something frankincense, something spiritual like a devotional or a Bible. And then something myrrh. That's something for the body like clothes or bath products. This simple framework puts some healthy limits on consumerism, and it intentionally brings a spiritual element back into the exchange. Another transformative idea would be to give a gift to Jesus. Now, this could be a special stocking or a box under the tree where family members place notes describing their gifts to Him. These aren't material things, but are acts of service, commitments to prayer, or sacrifices you intend to make for others. You can also decide as a family to pool the money that you would have spent on one round of gifts and donate that money to a charity or a family in need. It completely will reorient your heart, reminding you that Christmas isn't about what we get, but about the incredible gift we've already been given in Jesus Christ. Hey, what are some of the most cherished traditions for keeping Christ at the center of your Christmas? Would you take a moment and please share them in the comments section below? You know, your idea could be a huge blessing to someone else who's watching today's video. And if you're finding this video helpful, please take a moment, if you would, and subscribe so you won't miss more content just like this. Tip number 3, practice active waiting or stillness. Our world is built for now. We want everything instantly. But Advent teaches us the spiritual discipline of patient, intentional waiting. Now, it's not an empty thumb-twiddling kind of waiting. It's an active, hope-filled state of being. And to cultivate that, we have to intentionally create moments of stillness. Now, this will look different for everyone. Maybe it's committing to the first 15 minutes of your day for a simple Advent devotional before you get into your day. Maybe it's turning off the radio in your car during your commute to work and just praying or being silent, letting your thoughts turn toward God. I want you to think about the atmosphere of your home. What kind of music is playing? While festive jingles are fun, try weaving in more reflective Advent hymns and worship music. Songs like O Come, Emmanuel. They're specifically written to create a sense of longing and anticipation for the Messiah. That simple choice can transform your entire feel of your home from one of frantic energy to one of peaceful expectation. This practice of active waiting is a quiet little rebellion against the world's constant demand to hurry up. It's how we make space in our busy lives and cluttered minds for Christ to be present with us. Tip number 4, look forward with hope. Now, here's a dimension of Advent that we've kind of largely forgotten in our modern celebrations. It's focus on the future. Historically, Advent wasn't about the baby in the manger, or just about the baby in the manger, but it was also centered on Christ's victorious second coming. The season isn't just nostalgia for something that happened. It's an active hope for what is still to come. Now, as I pointed out at the beginning of today's video, the word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which means arrival. And in the New Testament, the Greek word used for Christ's second coming is parousia. Now, they aren't the same word from the same language, but they do point to the same powerful idea, an arrival that changes everything. And Advent holds both. So how do we bring back this future focus without its feeling strange or scary? We can do it by intentionally reading the scriptures that talk about it. In your personal time, perhaps you can spend some time reading passages like Luke 21 or maybe Matthew 24, where Jesus himself talks about his coming return. This isn't about fear, it's about cultivating a joyful anticipation. We remember that the story that began in the manger, it isn't over. The incarnation set in motion a redemptive plan that ends with Christ's return as the righteous King and the restorer of all things. I'm reminded what the angel said to the disciples as they watched Jesus ascend to heaven after his resurrection. We find it in Acts chapter 1, verse 11. They also said, "Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into the sky? This Jesus, who has been taken up from you into heaven, will come just the same way as you have watched him go into heaven." When you pray, include prayers for his kingdom to come. This forward-looking hope puts our present struggles and even the holiday chaos into a much larger eternal perspective. It reminds us that we are living between two Advents, and it fills our celebration with a deeper sense of purpose. Refocusing Christmas on Christ, it isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the things we're already doing, but with more intention. It's about trading the whirlwind of commercialism for the deep, abiding peace of Christ's presence. Whether it's engaging with the Nativity Story in a new way, shifting your approach to gifts, or finding moments of quiet, the goal is the same: to prepare our hearts for him. And please don't feel like you need to do all of these things at once. That would just add to the stress that we're already trying to avoid. Instead, let me encourage you to be intentional. Pick one thing. Start small. Choose one practice that resonates with you and your family and commit to it this season. The goal is progress, not perfection. By being intentional, we can cut through the noise and reclaim the season. We can transform it from a stressful marathon into a beautiful, meaningful journey of waiting for our King. It's a journey that leads not just to days of presence, but to a deeper relationship with the one who is the reason for it all. From all of us here at Directions for Living, may your Advent be a season of peace, and may your Christmas be filled with the profound joy of Christ. See you next Tuesday.